Hi, this is Jessica. In this video, I'm doing an individual narrative user simulation demo for our final project. I will go through the app. Assume I'm a new user who wants to learn how to tell impression and post impressions. So for this simulation I'm imaging, I'm a beginner. I have heard the names Impressionism and Post-Impressionism before, so I do not feel confident identifying them by looking at paintings. So on the homepage, the first thing I read is the main title, How to Tell Impressionism from Post-Impressionism. As a new user, this feels clear because it tells me exactly what I'm going to learn. I'm also noticed that the page mentioned a compact lesson and a second quiz and a scored quiz. That helps me understand the structure of the app before I start. I know I'm not just browsing information. Instead, I will learn some visual clues and then practice them. And here I see the learning roadmap and the visual lessons. So as a user, I'm thinking about the app will probably teach me what to look for in the painting, such as light, emotion, brushwork, and structure. Here I click the start lesson because I'm ready to begin the get learning flow. Now I'm on the first learning screen. I read the table and the short explanation first. This screen is about impressionism and fleeting light, so I understand that the first visual cue is not the artist's name, but the way light and atmosphere appear in the image. So my eyes goes to the painting and the highlights regions. So this is helpful because as a new user, I might not know where to look on my own. So the highlights tells me pay attention here. So then I read the cue panel on the side. It explains the cue in the simple language, so I can connect the visual detail in the painting with the concept being taught. So from the cue check, I'm going to simulate a realistic beginner mistake. So I first choose the option that sounds like it might be about detail structure because I'm not fully sure what makes this painting impressionistic. So, but after looking again at the highlighted area and rereading the cue text, I realized that the important clue is not precise structure. It is loose. And the feeling of the light changing in the moment. So I changed my answer to the option about the light and the atmosphere. So this is the recovery moment. So the app gives me enough visual guidance to correct my misunderstanding before moving on. So on the next screen, I read the new title and explanation. I'm trying to build a mental checklist. I'm not memorizing one painting and collecting the shoes that can apply later. So when I look at the image, I feel more confident because the app keeps the layout consistent. So the painting on the one side and the explanation is nearby, and the cube track is the same general place. So I choose the two that matches that I see in the painting and then I continue. So now the lesson introduces a different kind of visual clue. So for post-impressionism, I start to notice that the app is pushing me to look for more subjective emotion, stronger structure, and more stylized forms. So as a beginner, I'm thinking impression often feels like a quick captured moment, while the post-impressionism can feel more interpreted or constructed by the artist. So then I'm trying to go through the quizzes quickly, and I continue through the next learning screens. So it's just basically reading the short explanation, checking the image, and using the cue check to make sure I understand the point before I move forward. So this comparison page is useful because it helps me separate the two movements. As a new user, I might confuse them because both can have visible brushwork and bright color. So I read the common confusion carefully. This helps me understand what I should not classify a painting based on only one clue. I need to look at the overall evidence, such as light, subject, brushwork, emotion, and composition. So now I click to start the quiz. So at this point, I feel like I have a basic framework, but I still need practice applying it to paintings I have not seen before. So on the first quiz question, I read the prompt: which movement best fits this work? I understand that the app is asking me to make a classification based on visual evidence. So I look at the artwork first before choosing an answer. So I notice the actor light and the loose brushwork and the scene that feels like a captured moment. So I choose this one. So based on those clues, I choose impressionism. I'm not completely certain, but the visual evidence matches what I learned in this lesson. Then I click next to move to the second question. So for this question, I pause a little longer. As a new user, I'm comparing the clues in my head. I ask myself, does this feel like a fleeting observation, or does it feel more emotionally or structurally interpreted? I choose the answer that the best matches the visual clue I see, and then I continue. So on this question, I'm going to simulate another realistic user mistake. I see strong colors and expressive brushwork, so I quickly assume it must be post-impressionism. I select post-impressionism because I'm overweighting one clue. So this is a common beginner problem. I'm focusing on brushwork alone instead of checking the whole painting. So now I try to slow down and use the full checklist from the lesson. I look at the subject, the structure, the light, and the emotional tone from choosing. So for this one, the strong subjective organization and the less momentary feeling make me choose post-impressionism. So after answering the quiz questions, I click to see the result. So on the result page, I see my score immediately. This gives me quick feedback, but the more important part is the explanation below. So I look at the question I got wrong. This is where the recovery happens. The app tells me what I selected, what the correct answer was, and why. So reading this feedback, I realized my mistake. I treated the visual brushwork as enough evidence by itself, but the correct reasoning depends on the whole visual pattern, but not just one feature. So as a user, I now understand that I need to combine multiple cues. If the painting feels like a casual movement with natural light and everyday observation, it may be impressionism. If it feels more it's more structured, emotional, or symbolic, it may be post-impressionism. So at this point, I could retake the quiz to apply the correct reasoning or return home and review the lesson. So here I can retake the quiz, and also I can return home. So I think that's it.